What is up, guys, and welcome to a different kind of video for the channel. Well, I guess it's not really too different because it is themed around gaming, but I'm doing another one of these kind of videos. However, I've already tried this once, and whenever I finished it, I actually found another thing that I ordered and got to play around with. So, first off, we're going to be talking about um, controllers. And the thing is, I have a couple of controllers, a couple of different variants. So I wanted to do a video, and because I could. Anyways, to start off, we're gonna go with the very basic, the one that everybody's gonna have whenever they get their first controller or their first switches. And yes, these are gonna be. This is gonna be a Switch, Nintendo Switch controller video. And so, first thing, Joy-Cons. I don't particularly care for them. I don't really use them whenever they're not docked into the Switch itself. So, usually I'll just keep it in my Switch and never really take them off because I don't really like using the Joy-Cons. I don't really like the size of the buttons. I got big meaty fingers, and I just don't like the small buttons. The joysticks are okay. I have some silicone covers on them, being Isabelle, but overall, not really a huge fan of the Joy-Cons. They're cool. I love the technology that's in them, but for me personally, I'm not a huge Joy-Con fan. Now, when I play undocked, I actually have a grip, and it is a Satisfy grip, and I have a couple. This is just one that I have on another Switch. The Switch that I just had is my backup Switch, and that one is actually my backup to my backup. But my main Switch has its own grip, so whenever I bring that out, I put it into the grip, and that's what I normally play it undocked. As of now, I used to not. I didn't really care, but once I got the grip, it was a whole thing. I will do a whole video on it if you guys want me to. But for now, let's actually go into the controllers. And I'm actually going to go from cheapest from what I bought to most expensive. So first off, one that is actually not made anymore. They actually updated it. It's going to be the 8-bit Duo N30 Pro. The updated version is the 8-bit Duo SN30 Pro. So these are a little more pronounced in the SN30 Pro. But this was I got it on sale for like $15-20 at Micro Center. So if you can find it, it'll probably be fairly cheap, but you're more than likely going to find the SN30 Pros. And I didn't look at the price on that. I'm sorry, because I don't own it. Not really a huge fan. Well, not a huge fan, but kind of like with the Joy-Con problem, it's kind of small. It's a very good controller if you're just like out and about. You need to shove it into your bag and have an extra controller on hand. This is a very good controller. I used it for a little bit just to like test it out, make sure I actually enjoyed it. And for the time that I used it, I liked it, but overall, it wasn't really something that I'm going to seek out to use. So if it's there, I'll use it, but more than likely I'm not really going to be using this one. So, and overall it's not bad. And I did try to take this off because I wanted to do something, but that little nick right there, barely see it. There's a nick right here, and that was my fault. But because I don't really use it, I thought I might try to do something. Anyways, going higher into the list, I guess we can go with that one. All right. So We have another 8-bit Duo, but this is the Pro 2. And it comes in multiple colors. I actually have two. And no, I'm not giving one away. I actually use both of them. This is at priced right now $50. And for I actually really love this controller. It has these two buttons which you can program. You have to plug it into the computer to program it, but by default it's not programmed to anything. So when you're holding it, your fingers, or my fingers, rest right here, and they're not hard to press, but they're not like super easy to like press. You actually have to put a little bit of pressure on it. Sometimes if you're just holding it one-handed, you put more of a grip to your hand, so you'll probably press it more. But I actually really enjoy this controller, especially for Pokemon Legends of Arceus, because I'm going to put a clip on the screen. It actually has saved me from blacking out quite a few times, actually, with the buttons back here. So it's been very nice, and I actually got this one first, not knowing there was a black one. So I got this one, really enjoy it. And then I saw that there was a black one, and I like black controllers, so I got the black one. So I have two, and I use both. When one of them is close to dying, I'll plug it in, use the other one. So I do a swap, because I've been playing a lot of Legends of Arceus. All right, so the next one is actually going to be the Power A GameCube controller for the Nintendo Switch. The downside for this one is it takes batteries, but you can kind of mitigate that with rechargeable batteries, which is what I use. You can get a 4-pack with a charging base for fairly cheap, and this way you have a controller that does have chargeable batteries, but there is no plug for you to charge it as it is. This was actually my first controller that I got that was not the Joy-Cons, and it was actually the purple one. Again, I like black, so whenever I found the black, of course I got it, and then I actually gave the purple to my sister. There's actually a story of this one. Whenever I went to go get my first one, which was the purple one, I asked the guy at GameStop if they have any of the black ones, and they said they don't make the black ones. They don't exist. It's like, really, dude? I could probably go across town and find it, which I wasn't gonna do, because at the time I lived in a small town, and going into town would have taken about 45 minutes, which no big deal, but it was kind of late at night. I just wanted a controller. I wanted to get that plus another game, and so I went with the purple, and then I found the black one later on, so I got the black. Really good controller. Buttons are nice. They're not too squishy. They actually have a nice click to it, and it feels like a GameCube controller. And that was actually my first introduction to the GameCube controller, but now I have a GameCube with a GameCube controller, so I actually have a little bit of experience. Not a whole lot, because I haven't really played it all that much, but a little bit. All right, next we're actually we have a tie for the next one, dollar-wise. And technically it's a 3-way tie, but one of them I got on a really good deal. So that one is actually going to be last, because it's actually more expensive. So the tie is going to be between the Nintendo Pro controller. Yes, I have two. I got really crazy into controllers, all right, in the last year or so. So you got the Nintendo Switch Pro controllers, and then got to pull up the name. The Nguli Kit King Kong 2 Pro. So both of these are actually $70. And let me take this off my mic because I'm hitting it. Hold on. There we go. Sorry. Okay. So both of them are $70, and both of them are really good controllers. But I don't use them a whole lot. Like I said, the 8-Bit Duo Pro 2 is actually my main controller, but when I'm not using that one, I'm actually using this one. I don't actually use these anymore. They are more for display on my wall, have something to look cool on my wall, and I can actually show you guys some pictures of where I have them displayed. But this is actually what I mainly use whenever I'm playing non Legends of Arceus, where I'm not using the 8-Bit Duo Pro 2. Yeah. So let me talk about this one first, and not have y'all get jealous that I have two. This one is actually my second one, and I actually got this open boxed in Walmart for decent percent off, so I went ahead and grabbed it. But it was like brand new. There was like one fingerprint on it. I was like, okay, someone grabbed it, opened it, didn't like it. They literally just took it out of the box and like, yeah, no, don't like the feel of it, and then brought it back. It's like, I got a heck of a steal. So anyways, the feel of it is quality. Of course, being Nintendo, they're going to have some really nice quality controllers, and they are really good. And this one's actually dead, so I can mess with it all I want. Buttons feel nice. The spacing and the size of the buttons are actually perfect for me. And while I don't like the distance to the plus and minus all that much, it's not really a difference when you're considering this, because this is actually a little bit further, but the feel of it is really nice. And I got a skin on it because I like robot camo. If you guys couldn't tell from a couple of other videos that I've done, I like robot camo from Dbrand. So I have that on here. So it doesn't change it a whole lot feel wise. It just gives it a nice look to it, and a kind of a more matte finish. You don't really see the inside. And both of these actually have the amiibo functionality, which is really cool on this one, and we'll get to that here in a moment. But obviously this one has it, and overall it's a good controller. I actually used it for the longest time before moving over to the 8-Bit Duo Pro 2, and then I stopped using the Pro controllers. So okay, enough with this one. We're gonna go to this one. This one is actually a third party, obviously being the Ghoulie Kit King Kong 2 Pro. It has a different weight to it. This one actually has more weight to it than this one, but this one actually feels pretty good for being a third party controller. It has a little bit of a texture on the back, so you know that you're gripping onto it. It's kind of like a grip, but it's not like rubberized grip. So it gives you the sensation that you have a grip to it, where this is more kind of a rubbery feel to it. This is still plastic, but it's a textured plastic, which is nice. I don't like the finish on the front part because it actually, as you can see, has some of the oils from my fingers. It stays there. I can try to like wash it off and whatnot, but I don't really see a point, because all it's going to do is gather up again. Not a whole big thing. Anyways, the triggers back here, I've actually seen some videos on this one before doing this video, because I wanted like a more detailed vision of what I wanted to talk about. But I'm actually going to do a separate video on this one and the last controller, so we're not going to get too big into details. Triggers feel fine. It has amiibo, and being a third party, it actually wakes up the Switch. Not a whole lot of third party or really any third party Wake Up the Switch. This one, technically being third party, is still first party because Nintendo themselves endorses this one. So this being a third party and waking it up, that's cool. And everything on it feels nice. Battery life is actually pretty good. So more details in the video where I compare this one and the last controller. So going on to the actual last controller is going to be the $100 Power Power A? Yeah, Power A Fusion controller. Ooh. So this one actually, let me get this. So this one actually comes with a nice hefty case where the rest of them really don't. This one has a case, but it's nowhere near as like this one. So I'll put this one aside. This one has cable, which a lot of them normally do, and it actually has paddles. So you can actually have your paddles on the back, like so. And now you have a controller with paddles. So this was a pretty much something that people wanted for a higher end controller that would be more on the lines of the Elite controllers from Microsoft. And it's actually a really nice controller build wise, and the faceplate is removable. Again, more on that later. In the other video, I'm actually going to take this off. It actually has a rubberized back to it, and it is hefty, very hefty. It has problems, and I am going to address that in the other video because I don't want this video to go on any longer than what it's about to be, so about 20 minutes. But overall, decently built controller. I do not recommend this. It is $100. You could probably get it cheaper. I actually got this for about $80, $70 on Amazon, being kind of like a Prime thing. But it has one glaring issue for a few things, but you can actually overlook that for a lot of reasons, but I still don't recommend it because it is $100, and there are actually things missing from it. So I don't recommend it. If I were to recommend a video, which is kind of what I'm hoping this video does or is for, I kind of, for the price, I would actually try to recommend this one a little bit, not a whole lot. If you just need an extra controller, this would be something I would probably recommend, or the SM30 Pro one. But overall, I don't recommend that a whole lot because of the size, but that's just personal preference. My recommendations are actually going to be the 8BitDo Pro 2 being at, what was it, $50? Yeah, $50. Or the GollieKit King Kong 2 Pro. This one you'd actually have to order online, so you have to wait a little bit. So if you just want a controller at the same price, no, not that one, you could go for a Pro controller, but I actually recommend this one a little bit more. So these two I actually recommend highly because I love this one with the buttons on the back. It has saved my life in Legends of Arceus, so props on that. And this one is just a well-built controller, third party, and it has a lot for it. So I think that's gonna end this video. I'll actually once it actually goes live. But I'll have a link down in the description of my other video that I'm going to do for these two controllers, the Fusion and the King Kong 2. So thank you guys so much for watching. I know it's a different style of video. Bear with me. This is something I kind of been wanting to do, doing this once before, scrapping it so that way I could do it again with this one in the mix. Yeah. Have a wonderful day or night, depending on where you are in the world and when you are watching this. Bye.